And hello, my culinary skills and techniques peeps. Welcome to week 10. I just want to point out to you guys that you have essentially 2.5 weeks left of this course. I'm sad that you're moving on, but I'm going to see you in about 14 weeks for Cuisines of the World, so I'm going to be okay. All right, with that, let's start off with Chef Sophia, who wanted to make an announcement.
So this week you guys all did great, and the mistakes that I found were itty bitty tiny mistakes here and there that in the rubric, if I take points off of execution, that automatically takes 8 points off of your grade. So I like to take points off from production sheet, only take 3 points off, drawing take 2 points off, and flavor journal takes 7 points off. So depending on the mistakes that y'all did, I take points off of the drawing if it's just a tiny mistake, so it only takes 2 points off. So, but I do say it on the feedback, and don't be, because remember, we don't grade the quality of the drawing, just that you communicate with it. So normally I don't take points off of drawing, but if I do, it's because I'm taking less points than it wouldn't be fair to take the whole 8 points off.
Very nice. Thank you, Chef. And that's very considerate. Who wants to have 8 points taken off when I only get 2? I like that myself. So good job. All right, kids. So roasted chicken. We're in the middle of roasting and baking. How'd the roasted chicken go?
Main struggle was hot spot, Chef.
Was it really? Was it really? It's sort of like they're getting used to what their oven can do, right? Right. Well, that happens, and I don't know, when you're doing your first chicken or you're doing your 100th chicken, it's all about paying attention and basting. Trussing. Oh, yes. That's a skill in itself. Good. Some people enjoyed learning how to truss. That makes me happy. Did you notice how beautiful your shape of your chicken came out when it came out of the oven? Hello, Yolanda. Didn't it make it look pretty, like it was worthy to set on the table? You just have to take this idea and take it a step further, and there's Thanksgiving dinner, guys. Beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. All right. Do we have any questions concerning how to do the roasting of the chicken, the roasting of the vegetables, or the beautiful pan sauce? Right on. You guys are on it. Those in the archive, if you do have any questions or observations you want to add, just shoot Chef Sophia or me an email. We'd be happy to take a look. Okay, so we're now heading to meatloaf.
Hey.
So with the meatloaf, anybody here, is that like their favorite meal on earth? Oh, Sabra, I got the raised hand from Sabra. Anybody else? Oh, I got Teresa and Katie right on. They're like, yeah, I like that. Good. So, meatloaf. Meatloaf is basically a balance between the protein, the meat, and the fat. Basically, just a balance between those two. And then you add flavor. Typical baked proteins like this are usually something that has been ground up and then combined together. So it's about not overmixing, getting the flavor correct, cooking it till it's done, but not so much that it dries out, and then allowing it to rest before serving. So Yolanda, one of my faves, yay. With that, guys, I'm going to blow your mind for just a moment. It does not matter what meat you use. You can make it all with hamburger meat. You can make it all with pork. You can make it all with chicken. What matters is it's 80% protein to 20% fat. That's what matters. So your recipe calls for ground veal and ground pork and ground beef. Don't focus on the ingredients. Focus on that it's 80% protein to 20% fat.
Does that even go with tofu?
Tofu's a different gig.
Okay.
Different gig. And I would have to look up, Katie, I'd have to send you what it is if you're trying to do a vegetarian meatloaf.
I don't have to. I was just curious.
Yeah, no, it's a different ratio because you're utilizing beans, so you have to take into account the fat that's in the beans. Okay. So you have that there. Let's talk about everything else that goes in the recipe. I suppose I should do this with the start of a story. Guys, I hate meatloaf. This is a confessional. I hate meatloaf. I hate meatloaf because my mother was the worst cook in the United States. My mother would put raw vegetables into the meatloaf and then the Ritz crackers and then, you know, do it all up together and then ketchup over the top and slam it into the oven to cook. And so what would happen is I would have dry, nasty meatloaf with pieces of raw vegetable just sort of falling out with these little steam pockets. And it was just absolutely, absolutely disgusting. People would say, come over to my house, I'm making meatloaf. And I'd be like, I'm busy. So with that, always remember my mother, Susan. And I'm going to give you steps on actually how to make a moist, tender meatloaf. So get the right ratio of protein and fat. That's the first thing done out of the way. Hey, chef, can I use sausage? Yeah, whatever. As long as it's this, how much meat? What's the protein ratio?
80%.
Right on. And what's the fat ratio?
20%.
Perfect. Outstanding. So you have recipes all over the place. You could do mirepoix of onions, carrots, and celery. You could do the trinity of onions, celery, and peppers. It doesn't matter. What matters is that you saute those vegetables until tender. You don't need to caramelize, but getting them tender is important. That allows all the moisture to dissipate and it concentrates flavor. Let those cool and then you can add it to your meat mixture. So here's the next thing that you guys are going to do. Whether you use Ritz crackers or day-old bread or panko breadcrumbs, please soak in a liquid so that it looks like mush. The liquid can be tomato juice, cream, milk, stock. Doesn't really matter. Apple cider, it doesn't matter. What matters is that bread is mushy. It, you know, kind of like oatmeal-esque, all right? That helps keep the moisture in and helps bind the loaf. Eggs, perfectly fine. Season it any way you want to. And then you can either put it into a loaf pan or you can free form it. Either one works. If you put it in the loaf pan about halfway through the cooking, you're going to need to drain off the liquid, or you will have steamed meat on the lower half and a beautiful cooked meat on the upper half. You may glaze the top with the ketchup about 20 minutes until it's done, or you can make a sauce. We're not worried about that. Here's the last thing you guys have got to know. It must rest at least 10 minutes, maybe 20. And there you have it. 350 oven. Don't need to play around with it. Just make sure it rests, and you guys are pretty much done. I did leave one thing out, but before I talk about it, anybody have any questions at this moment on how to make it? Katie?
The question that I have is the high altitude oven.
Okay.
What temp should I go for? I'm having the hardest time with adjusting to the temps.
Well, I'm up at about 8 something, and I keep my oven at, I go a little bit lower and slower on the cooking, so I'd go 3 1/4.
Okay, all right, yeah,
So
because I
instead
keep
of 15
burning
minutes,
everything.
it'll take about an hour and 10, something like
Okay.
that. Anybody know what temperature you cook a meatloaf to? And it does not matter what the meat is.
165,
That's correct. Why?
because that's when the bacteria dies.
Yeah, when we kill off almost all the pathogens. Cool. So you guys, you can thermo it and find out the internal temp. If I'm going to take the temperature, where do I throw the thermo?
What'd you say? Sorry.
If I'm taking the temperature of the meatloaf, where do I insert the thermometer?
In the center, you don't want it to touch the pan. You just want it to be in the middle.
Right, middle of the middle, right on. Good job, guys. All right. So before you guys decide to form this into a loaf, a piece of advice. Take a small little piece and fry it up and taste it. It might need a little more zhuzhing from you. You know, a little Yolandaing or a little sabering, right? A little more salt, right? Chef Bay doing his little thing, right? So you guys, doing that little piece is going to save you a lot of heartache. Okay. Chef, photo time. It's going to be a short class, guys, because it's just meatloaf.
We all know meatloaf. I have a couple of examples. If you're going to go for Mark's favorite, American on top of American, it's a beef meatloaf stuffed with cheddar cheese, wrapped in bacon, and garnished with chives.
Nice.
I love this one. I'm guilty. I love that one. I truly love it. Sauces for this one, you know, you can go traditional like ketchup based or barbecue or tomato. I have the normal with your veggies in there.
That's
And
a free form.
Huh?
That's a free form.
Most of mine are free form except the chicken.
Okay.
Free forming, and then if you want to do at the end a little sandwich with mashed potatoes and stuff, perfect by me. Just show me your loaf of meatloaf before you cut it and put it into the sandwich. But just an idea. I have a chicken meatloaf right here.
That looks great.
Yeah, I like that how it looks on the inside. That is a perfect meatloaf. And I like that they added the bacon on the top. Normally chicken, you just see the chicken. If you want to go bacon wrap barbecue, also works very nicely. I like this bacon wrapping. This is a free form loaf. This is what my mother used to make for us. Is an egg stuffed meatloaf. This one I love because, as you can see, there's almost no pockets on the meat. So it's very nicely mixed and the breadcrumbs were soaked. This is what it creates when you do it correctly. And then another, this one was actually made on a pan and then taken out.
Nice.
And I have a stuffed meatloaf. You can stuff it also with cheese and spinach, I see here. And I have a couple of pictures to show you how to do that. See? So you kind of make thin meatloaf like that, and then you put all the insides, and then you roll it. And that's how you stuff it, so it goes like a spiral when it's done. See? You put everything on top here, and then you roll it. I have a teriyaki pineapple meatloaf, which is also delicious. I love making teriyaki meatloafs. And one of my favorites, the little meatloaf cupcakes. If y'all want to do something different, It's just a little meatloaf, and then it has tomato sauce, and then on top is mashed potatoes. And I think they look very cute. One of the students actually gave us this idea, right, Chef?
Oh, yeah.
I made my meatloaf cupcakes. I'm like, oh, they're so cute. So that's what I've got.
Outstanding. Any questions at this moment, guys? Otherwise, I'll go in and talk about how it's used in the industry. Outstanding. Typically a special. Maybe if you work in a, what is it called, like an assisted living situation, Wednesday night is meatloaf night, and then Thursday lunch is meatloaf sandwich. But if, let's say you have a diner, meatloaf is a classic item in a diner. And when you guys do this together, most of the time, if you think about meatloaf, is it considered high art or is it considered down-home country food? Yeah, very homey. Right on, guys. So when you guys put together the plate, my suggestion is make it a home plate. You've got a nice mashed potato, or if you're from the school of rice, a nice buttered rice. Then you've got your meatloaf, and then you've got your sauce, and you guys are good to go. Maybe serve it with a veggie. And remember your garnish. Any questions? Is there a Caribbean version, Teresa? There's gotta be. There's gotta be a Caribbean version.
I think so, but I did bison, Chef.
Ooh, nice.
Yes.
And it can be a little tough getting that protein to fat ratio, but nice.
Yes, it was.
What did you do for
But it
yourself?
was delicious.
Oh,
My
good.
son, I did a Mesquite barbecue sauce.
Oh, I love that. So that's a great example. Anybody else want to talk about a great sauce that would work with a meatloaf?
Asian works very nicely with meatloaves too.
Nice.
My mom used to make a chipotle tomato sauce to make it a little bit spicy. That one works very nice with meat too, with beef. They go gravy in the South.
Right? Brown sauce. Love it.
They're quiet today, Chef.
I know.
They're tired.
They're going like this. Good God, please let the next 2.5 weeks go by quickly. Well, this is a great opportunity then. Who doesn't go with meatloaf as a sauce? What doesn't go with meatloaf as a sauce? That's a great question. I'm thinking. Okay, I'm going to be honest with you. I don't think tartar sauce would be very good, but mayonnaise could be delicious. If you're kind of going down that route in an emergency, mix a little mustard with a little mayonnaise, like Dijon. Could be interesting. Could be interesting. Maybe serve with a little cornichon. All of a sudden, I'm making a hamburger without the bread. Ooh, lamb sauce with one. That would be beautiful. Yeah, particularly if you made it with ground lamb. That could be nice. Or if you're doing a ground lamb meatloaf, what about a mint sauce? That could be nice, right? I know, expensive. If all you do is spend your money on food.
Yeah, life spent well.
I know. Okay, yeah. I don't buy clothes. I don't even, and Chef just said you only live once. I don't buy clothes. I obviously don't get a haircut. And I get it. All right. Well, this is a great time for us to just briefly talk about your final, and then I'll let you guys go.
Ooh, just quick. Sorry, Chef. Before.
Yeah, go ahead.
Y'all have a discussion forum this week. Don't forget, Park Cooking. Your first post is due by Saturday, okay?
Oh, we need to talk about what par cooking is. Anybody have an idea what par cooking means? Take it away, Katie.
It's when you cook something like halfway, and that way, like during the industry, it like cuts your cooking time down.
Exactly. So, although Anthony Bourdain it gets mad at me when I say it, he sends me a text every time I bring it up. In a bigger establishment, we actually pre-cook the pasta, cool it down, oil it, portion it out into the sizes, into the baggies, because when you're making pasta, for 500, you actually want to be able to grab the bag, throw it into the hot sauce, and into the pot, into the bowl. So that's one of the par cooking concepts. Another one would be rotisserie chicken. Rotisserie chicken. So basically it's great, right? Lots of drama going around. People are going, ooh, rotisserie chicken. Well, what they do in the morning is they'll cook it 8/10, 9/10 of the way, pull it off, let it cool, have it, set it up into the low boys, right? So when the order comes in, I just pull half the chicken, put it on a sizzle platter, and shove it right into the oven to finish. So this is sort of how we think. So think about what you guys have done up until your meatloaf. You could even possibly include meatloaf. And think what items you guys have worked with that you could prep ahead, pre-cook ahead, and then utilize as an example item.
We used to blanch and chop a ton of vegetables in the restaurant.
Right? Yeah, exactly. So that's another example of par cooking. Bread will frequently come into you partially cooked yet frozen, and you thaw it, and it takes 10 minutes to finish baking. So these are things that we do in the industry for speed. Yes, Chef Mark.
Yeah, just an advice: if they decide to do a meatloaf in a mold, just to put some parchment paper all around the mold to avoid the meatloaf to catch the side.
Oh, that's a good advice. Very, very French. Also, I would point out, very French. We just use Pam. No, yes, the parchment works really well. Works very, very well. Also, a clean and non-scratched up loaf pan works well too. It's helpful. I like the parchment. All right. Any questions on the par cooking discussion forum, guys? Right on. Then I'm going to briefly talk about your final. You guys are going to be showing Chef and I that you know how to braise. You will be making a complete plate. If you were smart enough to put thighs and legs from week 2 into the freezer and mark it off as for your final, then you guys could do the coq au vin. But there are plenty of items you guys can braise. But you are making a complete plate for us. Is that right, Chef? Yeah, a complete plate. So that means if it needs to have a starch, it should have it there. If you think it needs veggies, it better be there. And we'll review again next week the processing of braising, but I wanted to get you guys ready. All right? You guys are tired. What's up, Chef Mark?
Is it for their final? For
That's
the week,
their final.
week 12?
Yeah, for their final. They have
So
2.5
they
weeks.
don't have the coq au vin anymore.
Some people do coq au vin, some people will end up doing other stuff, so it's cool. All right. I just lost the plot. Sorry, guys. I forgot what I was doing. I'm just going to say you guys have a good night. you need us, you know where we are. And yeah, Chef Sophia, anything you want to finish off with?
No, just played it. Played it nicely.
Good for you. Good for you. All right, Chef Mark, any last words of wisdom?
For the plating, just try to make it conformally with what you're doing. That's forgetting to tell the last course, because I didn't have I was on mute and I didn't have a mic, but I wanted to ask them that the plating is important because it depends in which restaurant you will end it at the end. Because the plating in fine restaurants, the plating in Michelin star restaurant, the plating in a casual restaurant or in a comfort food restaurant, it's not the same. The techniques still the same, but the amount of the food, the way you place it on the plate is different. So try to start to think about that.
That's a good point. That's an excellent point. The amount of potatoes in a diner is not the same amount of potatoes you get in a fine restaurant. Good point. Really good point. Portion sizes.
I had to fight my uncles. We have a family in a hotel back home, and they have a kitchen that we do events there. And I had to fight him because they asked me to go and reinvent the menu for the caterings, for the weddings and such. And he's like, no, you can't put less potatoes. I'm like, yes, if you plate it correctly, if you let me teach him how to plate, we're gonna use less product for the same price. And he's like, no, that's not the way to do it. Yes, it is, people. Yes, it is.
It's all about making a little bit of extra money, my friends. Yep, a little bit extra money. Superb. Oh, and by the way, I'll leave you with this thought. I have yet in my entire experience of cooking ever lost money on making meatloaf. I will always make money on a meatloaf. Just letting you guys know. I have it on there. I will always sell out on a meatloaf every night. It's just one of those items people love. Okay, Chef Mark is saying research plating on the internet and look at photos. Aye. Okay, kids. A bientôt. Take care. Be well. Stay hungry, as Chef Graham says.
Yeah.
Bye.